everybody, it is Gemma from Grow Your Mindset. You are tuning into another Mindset and You interview, and today I've got the lovely Hilary Sims with me. Give us a wave, Hilary. Brilliant. And if you've not been to one of these interviews before, basically this is about lots of different people in lots of different professions, finding out their views on mindset and mental health, finding out what they get up to. So it's me being a bit nosy, really. So I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to ask Hilary to introduce herself. So if you could just tell us who you are and what do you do, Hilary?
Right, I'm Hilary Sims and I'm based in Stourbridge in the West Midlands. I'm a counsellor and I support anyone from the age of 12 upwards with their mental health. They come to me with issues. They quite often don't know really what the issues are or where the issues have started. And we work together to work out what's causing the disturbance, probably where it's come from, and also then how they can deal with it differently. We have a little set of tools that they can go away and try. Some things work, some things don't work.
And that's the key sometimes, isn't it? That's finding lots of different things that work for people, because like you say, not everything, it's not just one size fits all, is it?
No, unfortunately not.
No, but I'm sure it sounds like an incredibly interesting job. So just tell me then, what makes you so passionate about it? What are the best bits about your job?
Ooh, what are the best bits? Sometimes the best bits are tinged with sadness, because the best bit is seeing a client go, I'm okay now. I don't need your help. I can deal with this. But then that relationship with that client has disappeared. But actually, yeah, it's sad for me because that client's gone. But actually, from their perspective, it's brilliant because actually they've gone back out there and they're dealing with it themselves. So it's a bittersweet, really, isn't it? But actually, when I know I've sent them off with the tools to do the job, they can go out there, they can try things. Sometimes things work. Sometimes I'll just ring up and say, this has worked really well, or can I just have another odd session just to top up things that haven't worked so well? So yeah, it's a bittersweet, really, but it's great to be able to make a difference to people's lives.
Yeah, I was just going to say that sort of end, you're kind of realizing that really I've had a massive impact on this person, because now they're able to go off and do things for themselves. Now they don't need me. So that just shows the power of the work that you do, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then sometimes we don't actually seem to do anything, just the space where they can sit and talk, they can express themselves. They start to work out some of the stuff themselves. Oh yeah, I could do that differently, or I could have done that differently. So yeah, it working with them, the relationship that you get with the client, and when you can see when they come back and go, oh, I didn't do this like I normally do, or I went out and I really enjoyed myself without beating myself up afterwards that I'd said something I shouldn't have said, or what will people think of me, and to actually see the journey that they go on. And one of the things we do at the end of the sessions is actually reflect and have a look back. And when you go, well, how do you view yourself when you first came in your first session? And where do you see yourself now, and the difference that the journey you've come on? And quite often they actually can't believe the difference in themselves.
Yeah, sometimes I've noticed this because we've just started doing coaching as well with Grow Your Mindset. And actually, when you point out where they were when they came to you and where they've come in the matter of a few weeks, they've kind of not realised. And it's kind of quite enlightening, isn't it, when you point out, actually, this is where you were at the beginning. Look at how far you've come now. And it is a bit of a, oh my gosh, yeah, actually, it's a nice wake-up call, isn't it, sometimes, to do that and have a good reflect.
Yeah, it is. And it's their light bulb moment when they realise, oh yeah, I didn't do what I used to do. I've not reverted to type. I've actually learned something new, and it helps me deal with things much better by doing it the new way.
Yeah, definitely. So your story is quite interesting because you've not always been a counsellor. So just tell us a little bit about how this all started, and now you're obviously really passionate about supporting others. So what drives you? So where did it start, and what drives you to continue to support?
Oh, lots of questions there, Gemma. Thanks. My husband was actually in the army for 22 years. So we moved around, as you can imagine, every 3 to 4 years. We even lived in Germany for 5 years. So it was sort of grab jobs that were around. I worked in a lot of admin roles, basic account roles, that type of thing. So once we settled and he left the army, it was my time to do something for me. So I wanted to go back to college, didn't really know what I wanted to do. So as you do, you get the prospectus and you flip through all the pages. And this basic counselling course came up. So I thought, actually, I'll go and give that a go and see what happens. So off I tootled to college, and 3 years later, after part-time study, I became qualified.
Wow.
And set up my own business, which I've now been doing for 6 years.
Wow.
So I stumbled into it in a way, but it's the best job I've ever had because it makes such an impact to other people's lives. And I think that's the big thing for me. People have had, oh, I don't know how to deal with this, I don't know how to deal with this, or I can't cope with this, or I can't cope with that. But after a few sessions together, we can actually, do you know what? I can deal with this. And it's not about making the problems totally go away, because you can't, because they're part of that person, but it's learning how to deal with those things differently, and that makes a big difference to that person.
Oh, do you know, you're just so on our wavelength, just what you said there about, you know, we're not making these things go away, it's just how we respond to them physically, isn't it, and emotionally to these situations, and whether we can manage that better. That's just exactly what myself and Liz always talk about in our training as well. It's really interesting.
Just like anxiety, for instance, it's always there. We've all got it. It's just how we deal with it. Some people are so laid back, the horizontal, so therefore, well, they are. You know, some people could be in the middle of a crisis and they'd be, don't worry, I can cope with this, not a problem. And other people would be running around like a headless chicken. So anxiety is there for all of us. It's just how we deal with it and the impact we allow it to have on us. So some people, anxiety is just there constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But if you can give them the tools to learn how to deal with it differently, they can start to relax, they can start to enjoy social situations, they start to sleep better, which is a big thing, you know, and that helps. But the anxiety never goes away, because anxiety is a natural emotion, it's a natural reaction that we all have. It's just how we deal with it that causes us a big disturbance.
Do you find that that's a bit of a light bulb moment as well, Hilary? Because I know when I've spoken to people, you know, like they see anxiety, or some people I should say, anxiety is seen as a negative emotion, you know, as is nervousness and stress and depression and that sort of thing. And I know there's different levels of all these emotions, but sometimes when you just bring that to people's minds, that actually these are normal emotions and that actually everyone deals with these. Do you find that kind of sometimes people think, oh, right, it's not just me then? Do you ever have that scenario?
Yeah, lots of people come and you say, I've heard this from lots of people before. Really? It's not just me that feels like this? No, everybody feels like this at some stage. It's just how we deal with it. But yeah, people, I think when it's happening to you, it's all consuming, isn't it? It's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's in your head, it's on your insides, it's there. And you can't understand that anybody else would feel like this. But that moment when you go, this is normal and everybody has it, they all sort of go, oh, I'm not strange then. No, you're not strange. You're just struggling to deal with your anxiety. You know, it's like we have to have a label. No, you don't have to have a label, you know. And as I say, we're all anxious at varying times of our life, and lots of different things trigger people's emotions and their anxiety in lots of different ways.
Yeah, that's, I know we've discussed that before, haven't we, about on a previous call we did, in terms of putting labels on people, and actually sometimes that's not the best thing to do, is putting labels on, because we kind of act up to that label, don't we, as well, once we've been given it. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy as well, isn't it? You know, even with like your children, when you say, oh, this is the shy one, or this is the loud one, and we do that quite often, you find that actually the children live up to those labels that you've given them, don't they? And I guess it can be the same with emotions too. Oh, have you gone on?
And quite a lot of people get, oh, well, you're anxious. No, you're just a little bit worried about something. And being worried about something is normal. Being worried about exams. If you're not worried about exams, you don't care. You know, and if you care, it's going to come with some emotion, isn't it? You know, and is it really anxiety in the full description of the anxiety, or is it just I'm struggling to feel with a little bit of nervousness? You know, I've got an exam tomorrow. I've been away running it round in my head. I feel a little bit sick. That's quite normal when you've got an exam tomorrow. But whether anxiety in that respect is, the word is used a little bit too much for what is normal worry.
Yeah,
I'm seeing that quite a bit, and that's quite prevalent in young people.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, with me and my company, we're really passionate about mindset and developing more that positive outlook on life, and whether that's in school, whether it's in businesses. We've been through the most unusual 2020, haven't we, with COVID and lockdown? And we often talk about challenges when we do our training with staff or when we work with children. We talk about how we face challenges, how we embrace them. What's been your biggest challenge through this year that you've either faced or that you've seen? Has it been in your family? Is it or is it more business related? And how have you overcome those challenges?
I think the biggest challenge, and it's probably still ongoing because people are going into varying lockdowns, is for me was I can't see people face to face. How am I going to deliver counselling? Oh, okay, there's a thing called Zoom. Learn how to use it.
What did we do? What did we do before Zoom?
No idea. Find an account, quick, get yourself logged on, work out how you press this button, that button, get your video working, and learning how to do it by telephone as well.
Yeah.
So for me, that's been a real challenge. My whole business went over to online and telephone. But the biggest thing for clients was finding a space at their end that they could feel comfortable to talk.
Yeah.
So the next challenge was when I was getting a lot of messages from clients going, when are you opening up again? When can I come and see you? So I am now in my garage. So I now have carpet in my garage.
Nice.
We now have carpet. We now have a heater. So yes, I can offer 2 meter distance. It means they're not coming in my house.
Yeah.
And the amount of people have just said, I'm just so pleased I can actually come and see you face to face. I can't cope with doing it over the internet.
Yeah.
My business alone's caused enough challenges, and as well as that, husband and daughter have been sharing the dining room table since March. One of them's either side of the dining room table. So one's on a call, another one's on a call, the other one's going, shh.
Yeah.
So and then there's me walking behind him when they've got the videos on with me washing basket, taking me washing to put in the washing machine. So it's just been really strange, hasn't it, since March? And we've all got to learn to just not just live with each other, work with each other and respect what space each other wants. And
absolutely, and that adaptation to the situation as well, thinking a little bit differently. But in some ways, if this wouldn't have happened, me and you wouldn't have met, would we? Probably
not. No, and there's quite a few people that I've met over Zoom networking calls. Yeah, it's very, very true.
Yeah, just opened up the doors of possibility in terms of meeting new people and gaining expertise from each other and collaborating. So there are pluses, aren't there? But I totally understand about the face-to-face. There's nothing better than working with people face-to-face, is there?
Yeah, I know you get the emotion still over the Zoom and everything, but it's not quite. The walk out the room and you can see the smile and you can see things have changed, and it is, but at least by being able to go online, I've still been able to support my clients, which has really been the main important thing for me.
Absolutely. And then you've recently taken to blogging, and you've started you've kind of honed in on men's mental health and seen that as being really important. What made you decide to concentrate on that area in particular?
Because looking at one of the things was looking at my Google Analytics, to be fair, and noticing I was getting more men viewing my website than I actually was women, which I thought was a bit strange. So I thought, okay, they're looking.
Yeah.
And also it's in the press, it's in the social media. And I thought, you know what, let's just give this a go. So you've probably seen my picture on Twitter that just says my banner that says I need men. So in for a penny, in for a pound, let's give it a go. So yeah, it's a real, and it's really funny because since I've only been blogging since March. Something else I've learned in lockdown, you can do marketing. And the reaction I've had to the blogs about men and encouraging men and everything from other people and everything has been really, really fantastic, really positive. Everyone's saying, you know, the great articles and the message you're getting out there is great. I do get men clients anyway, but it's not even just getting men clients to me, it's just getting men clients to actually go, do you know what? There is help out there and it's okay to ask for it. I'm not weak by asking for help. I'm just being a human. Just because you're a man doesn't make you any different to a woman. You still have your feelings, you still have your emotions going on. So yeah, that was really sort of, let's go to a area that really needs some support here, and that was the reason for blogging.
And the amount of people that you're probably supporting without even knowing, just in terms of them reading your blogs and taking things away from those to go and implement in their own lives, that's also really empowering, isn't it, in terms of supporting people and without kind of really realizing it, but the impact is huge. Absolutely.
If one man goes and asks for help on the back of what I've written, whether it's comes and asks me or asks anybody for help, it's been worth it. You know, if one person picks up that phone and goes, yeah, I will, it is okay for me to ask for help, I will go and ask for it. It's been worth it. But it also, from my point of view, from a learning point of view, it's made me sit back and look at the things I do. How do I do what I do? You know how you do it because you just do it every day. But if you have to tell somebody how you do it, so actually sitting and writing it down has been quite empowering about, oh yeah, I do that. I do know how to do that. I do know how to deal with these things.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And I guess as well, it goes back to that normalizing of it, isn't it? Like we talked a minute ago about, you know, these emotions that you're having are normal. It's about how we handle them. And you doing the blogs for men, it is normalizing mental health and the importance of mental health for men just as much as women, isn't it? And having that conversation is normal, that it's not something to be shied away from, which obviously is something that we're working towards constantly all the time.
Yeah, and I know it's been in the major press and whatever, but it's still about people realizing, you know, it is okay. And I know there's more professional sports people and professional people and famous people have sort of come out and gone, yeah, I've suffered with it, you know, because sadly mental health doesn't choose who it picks. It just does, and you don't know when it's going to hit. So it's a really big message that doesn't matter whether you're man, woman, young, old, whatever. It's okay to ask for help with your mental health. We all suffer with some form of it at some stage in our life. And quite often it's when we're least expecting it.
And we do it so quickly for physical health, don't we? You know, we pick up the phone for the doctor for physical health, but not always the same for mental health. There's still a lot of stigma around it and embarrassment and shame, isn't there? So doing what you're doing is just normalizing that situation and making it much more accessible for people, isn't it?
And guys will go to the gym, they'll play football, they'll play rugby, so they look after the insides of their body. As you say, physically, they've even got to the stage now where it's actually okay to put cream on my face and that type of thing. You know, so if we're going to look after the inside, we're going to look after our skin. What about looking after this too?
Definitely.
You know, it's all part of our whole makeup.
Absolutely.
You know, people used to shy away from having a shower bag going into the shower. Well, men now have a shower bag, don't they? And it has whatever it has, treatments and whatever it has in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's do the same for our mental health.
I totally agree. Now, obviously, our work is slightly different, but there's a lot of crossover as well in terms of what we're trying to promote and the impact that we're wanting to have on people. Why do you think it's so crucial that our work is carried out in today's schools and businesses?
particularly in schools, I think if young people have got mental health issues, if you can help them when they're young, it prevents them taking it into adulthood, which is brilliant. And if you can get it when it's first starting to bother them, you can give them the tools to take through the rest of their life. And as I say, we all have major life-changing events. We all lose partners, families, we go through divorces, lots of life-changing events that can give us issues with our mental health. So it's important because it makes you then be allowed to live your life to your full potential. Because when anxiety and mental health takes over, that becomes your sole focus. You don't enjoy what you do every day. You don't, oh, I'm going out. Oh, you know, well, actually, it should be I'm going out. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, well, when your mental health's taking over, there's no enjoyment in everything. But at least if you go and ask for the support that is out there, and we get the message out there that it's okay to ask for help and the right support is there, it makes a difference to the way people can go out there and live their lives.
Absolutely. And so we've had a great conversation. I've absolutely loved talking to you today, Hilary. I've found out some interesting things that I didn't know when I first started, which has been great. But if somebody's thinking, you know what, I need some help, I think counselling might work for me, where can they get hold of you? How do they find you? So any contact details you've got would be really useful.
Okay, my website is www. Hang on, have I given too many W's there? I'm not sure.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I didn't. Lifebalancecounselling.net. My telephone number is 07850 447 585, or you can email me at hilary@lifebalancecounselling.net.
And in any of the platforms that we go across, all that information will be in those as well.
Yeah,
so
I'm on Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah, she's on the social media platforms as well. We've seen you. Yeah, that's been really great. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really insightful. And keep up the amazing work, because like you say, it's impacting on so many people in so many different ways positively, which is exactly what we need at the moment, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. There's so much negativity around at the moment, and even more so with what's going to happen at midnight to most people tonight, where we're going to be more locked down. Yeah, being positive, get out there and ask for help. And as I say, even if you are stuck and you can't get to somebody in person, pick up a telephone. We can do Zoom calls. We can make it work that way.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks very much for your time today, Hilary. You take care.
Okay, take care. Bye.